can shower. To smell unique. To smell confident. To smell amazing. You got something. Smell like the best you with Axe U Body Wash. Smell amazing. You got something. Smell like the best you with Axe U Body Wash.
I had forgotten that I had unplugged my mic to do stuff on chat on a party on PS4 earlier this week, and had forgotten to plug it back into my computer. So I've been talking to no one for a bit. Okay. So I've been talking to no one for a bit. Let me go over that again. Desert chapter, Fog of War. Fog of War is never fun. People who say they like it are either A, lying, or B, have never actually had to play a desert Fog of War chapter. There are 2 in the GBA era games, and I'm not sure about Thracia. But the one in Fire Emblem 7 is only actually Fog of War in the hardest difficulty. On the lower difficulties, it's just desert without the Fog of War. But Fire Emblem 6, it's always Fog of War plus deserts. Anyway, deserts greatly decreases movement range for horses, mounted units, so I am not bringing Anti-Arch because he got a horse last chapter, and I'm not bringing Prin because she's already on a horse. Thinking about promoting Arv because she would give me a more reliable staff healer than Betty. Betty's got a nice rally spectrum, but he's level 4 still, and has about the durability of paper. So I guess if he dies, then I might promote Arv on the spot. Otherwise, I may kind of play it by ear. Kirsten's coming for flying and foot magic units are uninhibited by sands and desert. The other infantry units have reduced movement, but it's more than a mounted unit would have. Mounted units have like 1 to 2 movement on sand and desert at most. So this is what my lineup's kind of looking like this chapter. Armors also have really bad movement on desert, so as great as Ty is, he gets to sit out this chapter. Bob's coming for visibility, though this does seem like a more forgiving Fog of War, and that looks like normal units have about 7 range visibility in it, as opposed to, I think I've seen as low as 3 to 5 visibility in Fog of War in GBA games. So this actually isn't too bad Fog of War wise, and almost to the point where there might not have been much point to giving it Fog of War at all. But I guess I won't complain anymore about that. Let's see here. There is a green unit to quote-unquote rescue. I think looking at her stats, she's going to be more like Pent from Fire Emblem 7, where the main reason I want to get to her is because so that she doesn't steal all the experience on the map. Cilicia. And yeah, she's got pretty nice stats. And Acrobat on a horse unit is hilarious. And is going to make chasing after her a nightmare. Yeah, thieves have better sight in Fog of War. As Adept, Focus, Rally Riz, Canto, and Acrobat. Interesting. Hellfire, Physique, Torch. So yeah, I actually don't think she's in danger at all here. I want to get to her so she doesn't kill everything before I can. Well, Hellfire with 6 con, so if she gets slowed down by 4, not great, but not awful either. So she's still hitting for 14 attack speed, which doubles everything except for the speedy ones. Which is, again, still kind of par for the course. Let's see, you over here to deal with the sword guy. Oops, going too fast here. Tam. I am still fielding Tam. Do I have better options? Not really. Not this chapter, at least. If I get the same number of slots, I'll probably start benching Tam for Ty. To which end, kind of stow Tam away a bit here, just because he's a reserve. Probably want to sweep out here with Tim, I guess, just so that I have coverage. Okay, so other GBA Desert chapters, and even in Path of Radiance, into not so much in Radiant Dawn, they often have, or they all have items hidden in the desert, and there's no real tell for that. Well, some of them have tells. Like Fire Emblem 7, they say look near the bones, I believe, and that gets you 4 of the 8 items available. Okay, let's go. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time searching for items. Though it is tempting, I might come back to that off stream and spend some time. Potentially, maybe on a different playthrough. And then whether or not I even keep that depends on the what the loot actually is. We have an archer here that might get sniped. Keep an eye on his range. I want to kind of skirt around it with my flyer, because I do want to kind of get my flyer up there. Do I want to rescue drop Void up there, though, is the question. And can I do so safely? The other fun, not fun thing about desert chapters is that sand and desert gives everyone a little bit extra void, so you kind of have to roll the RNG a little bit harder on every encounter. Need a little more power here. Thankfully, Anna's like, screw the rules, I've got lucky 7s. Which is normally overkill in most of these cases. Yeah, there's desert map and Fog of War at the same time. But the Fog of War is not bad, because seems like the average unit visibility is pretty high, abnormally high, perhaps even. Get Bob some experience. Don't want him to get too far behind. Oh, I found something. Yeah. Oh, actually, that was probably just spoil, not actually finding something. Um, no, and none of them are in range of anything, so there's no real point rallying them. This is mostly a mage, so Arv choke this point. So mostly just keeping an eye on enemy ranges here, making sure don't have any individual character taking too many attacks. Tam's got 7 resistance, which is solid. Cuts the soldier down to 10 damage, which even if he criticals, which depending on depending on whether this guy moves, he might be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, yeah. The mage might be far enough away to activate focus, which would give him 10 crit on top of 5 crits on top of 4 from his skill. So that's a non-negligible amount of critical. But 10 damage times 3 for a crit still won't kill Tam. Won't kill Samson either. And good luck hitting Anna. Meanwhile, gotta remember Kirsten here is actually somewhat vulnerable to magic. So, guess gotta leave her put. Man, can you imagine if Pent came on a horse? Probably right there, Pat, though, that the Elfire is handicapping this girl, the Mage Knight, more so than it's doing anything else to her. Let's see, can I get any closer? The main problem here is she's gonna actually run away next turn. Unless I put a target in her range. So if I can get this soldier to attack Bob, maybe Arv might work too. It's our speeds. Iron Axe, 8 speed. So he's got 8 speed, I've got 10. So I'm not going to double him, so this might be the best route here. Don't want to risk critting him, though. How much HP does he have? 34 with 2 res. 13 for 17. Minus 2, 15. Yeah, that's still 45 damage on crit. So, okay. We'll do this. My general's the one that has rally movement. Like Now wish I had dropped Void instead of leaving her rescued. But I can rescue Cilicia next turn instead. So that works. Meanwhile, well, I mean, he'll survive, but I don't really gain anything else from that matchup, so I'm going to kill with Anna instead. Yay, is that a S rank already? Hello, it's an S rank. Hello, Wyvern Riders. I dodged a bullet here. Wow. Okay, yeah, that was kind of evil. They're fairly strong too. Man, I just hate surprise Wyvern Riders. I'm in range there. Is it worth going to the Lance Reaver? 20, 21 damage, minus 8. It's 13. 13-ish. Plus poison though, so I probably, even though the chance of hitting is pretty minimal, they can't be too safe here and switch to the Lance Reaver. Wonder if there's another Wyvern Rider above the fort. Do I want to rally? I might not. 8, 7, 1, 9 speed. 8, so okay, a rally won't put her into double range. And it'll chop 2 off the damage she takes too. There's a whole lot of nothing out here, but another fort that I am now suspicious might be hiding Dragon Knights. I refuse to be consistent about how I refer to them. Let's see how much extra vision I get from this. Except I end my turn, so don't get to check it out until next turn. So Cilicia should come down and finish him off. Oh, she failed to kill this guy. Not too big of a deal though. Well, she needs crits to kill them too. This is unfortunately one of the failings of Swordmasters, is that if they don't roll that RNG just right, as favorable as it sometimes is for them, they can fall short in their damage output. Let's see, 9 speed, 11. He's got 10 defense too, so he's bulky enough to take a hit. Maybe even 2. Oh, that's where the boss is, okay. Pablo the Warrior. What is this? Death Blow. Gross. I'm not sure which version I prefer, the main game Death Blow, where it is boost to crit rate, or Hero's Death Blow, where it's just a straight boosted damage. I guess Quick Draw is the equivalent here, plus 4 damage when initiating. So yeah, gotta visit that village cautiously. Basically, just bring send Kirsten there and then fly her away to safety when I'm done. What items did he have? Silver, Brave, and a Master Seal. With surprisingly high resistance. Probably so that if Cilicia did manage to make her way over here, she wouldn't solo the boss as well. And he hits pretty hard. At least he's not carrying a ballista. Because, you know, there was an obtainable ballista earlier in the game that I missed. Yeah, as I expected. There's another Wyvern Rider there. 4 uses, so... Yeah, okay, that should... It'll break after both of these encounters. If they go for Anna, the lower one will probably actually go for Samson there. He doesn't really know a real boon to putting him beside either of them. Let's see. Rescue Cilicia. Gotta drop Void somewhere. Have Bob go out and harass some of these axe users. Oh, yep, as expected. There's flyers over here at least. They're not Wyvern Riders, but at least they're all Toxin Lances. Toxin Lances hit really weak. Ooh, a Hopped on guard. That is going straight on Void. Slower, slightly bulkier than the other boss. The halberd's kind of funny because no cavalry is gonna reach him before anyone else does. So it's basically just the killer bow, and killer weapons on enemies are never real fun. Just gonna keep out of the flyer's range until I'm ready for them. I should have given Betty another different staff actually. Forgot to update his inventory. I think perhaps the more annoying aspect to this map is the fact that it's a desert fog of war where the map objective is route, so I have to go and find all of the enemies on this map. This is somewhat ironically more sadistic than the last chapter. Yeah, get those crits. Save uses on this Lance Reaver too. Yeah, that was expected. Enemy AI favors attacking enemy allies that can't counterattack before dealing damage, and it doesn't ever really consider hit rates. One short, which actually is kind of nice because then I can finish him off with whoever I want, like Kirsten there. Easy experience. a lot of nothing in this map otherwise, and I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that. Like, it's kind of accurate to have a desert with a lot of nothing in it. That's par for the course. Here we are. Ooh, no recruitment dialogue once again. But now I've got a sweet ride. So you can actually see her growths now. No, right. So it's accurate that there's a lot of nothing in the desert, but there's also not that great in terms of game design. Because again, there's nothing to do. There's also not a lot of cover, so you kind of get some Fate's Awakening symptoms here, where you just kind of have to bulldoze enemies with raw stats, because there's no real strategic way of... there's less strategy involved in any given encounter. Yeah, this probably won't get me much of anywhere. Just get me hurt. Yeah, it doesn't have... well, if I go in with Flux, then he's going to double me on a counterattack. Okay, so what do I do about you? For all its faults, if map manipulation was awesome. You mean if as in, oh, I'm surprised you remember that title. At least that's Fire Emblem If was the Japanese name for Fire Emblem Fates. Yeah. But it didn't really come up. People pretty much stopped using that name once Fates was named in the translation. Let's see, so yeah, the Dragon Banes were interesting. They were a cool idea. They were unfortunately only kind of rarely actually implemented in a way that was well thought out. The Ice Village chapter 8 in Conquests, was one of the best uses of it, because it added strategy and added ways to approach the chapter, which basically is equivalent to giving the chapter more depth than it had by itself. In contrast, an example of a badly used Dragonbane gimmick would be the Fuga's Wild Ride, the Wind Village, where the Dragonbane mechanic was not only unhelpful most of the time, it was downright invasive a lot of the time, for the fact that the winds would blow whether you activated them or not, and there were wind formations that were unavoidable. Does it Mitama's paralog was kind of neat. You got to freeze small inlets to cross them faster. I think I'm pretty much done this turn. Not a whole lot else to do. Guess I can bring Arv back. I don't really stand to gain much by leaving her out there. Yeah, the Wind Village happened early in Birthright and late in Conquest. And the early iteration in Birthright was a little more palatable because the enemies weren't as strong. But since it was late game in conquests, the enemies were actually threatening a lot of the times, and they arbitrarily didn't get blown by wind that you got blown by. I think that was probably my biggest complaint. The fact that it affected the player and the enemies unequally. Bob got a level up here, and still in pretty good shape to continue whacking bandits. I want to start edging Tim into these Peg Knights range. He can equip an axe and basically just tear them apart. But yeah, now I kind of get to crawl my way through the deserts towards where the rest of the enemies are. They could have at least made these guys move, but I'm not sure if these guys have actually moved yet. Still have to decide what to do with you. What turn is it? 5? 10 avoid. 5 avoid. Well, I might just use Anna here with her 86 avoid to bait the boss while still visiting the village. I think that's what I'll do. Used to be treasured here in this desert. People came to this village searching for a fortune, but I came too late and now there's nothing left. All I found were these stupid old boots. Forget this, I'm going home. Well, I got another pair of boots. Okay, I got a pair of boots last turn, or last chapter. What do I do with 2 pairs? Give them both to the same unit, that's what. I have boots on my boots. Rallies are good. I guess Void can help over here. Any other rallies? I don't think I have any other rallies. Just everyone get in position to swarm the boss next turn. This is safe. Actually, I love giving boots to my dancer / bard characters, and I just don't have one yet, so I was holding on to the other pair. Whether I'll hold on to this one or not, I'm not sure. Don't really know who needs it. Lord Void gets a horse on promotion, so that patches up her mobility. I guess I could give it to Ty. That would bring him actually up to a Cavalier's movement range, which is actually hilarious. I should do that. The main advantage of making him, that would have been making him into a Great Knight, was having the extra movement from having a horse. But if I get a bunch of Swift Souls, then I can make him have the movement range of a horse anyway. Could rally here. I'm just kind of seeing how much firepower I actually need to kill him. I can only reach him with certain units, despite all my preparations. And I definitely want to kill him this turn because the Brave Axe is going to mess someone up next turn if I don't. But unfortunately, Anna, Void, and Tam all can only attack from the same spot right here. So while Tam is pretty low priority. Does he get doubled? Yeah, he does. Does Samson get doubled? Yes, he does. So basically, how much damage do you do? How much damage do you do? Lightbrand is light enough to get double attack off, but his boss has higher resistance than defense, so I want to be targeting attack. I want to be targeting defense rather than resistance, and the Lightbrand actually targets resistance. So I need to give her a killing edge, which means Void probably is not going to attack this turn. And it means I have to move Samson too. Actually, I can attack with the longbow. And that almost halves his health. Good. So, gonna fish out. I don't have a killing edge, but I do have a silver sword. Silver sword's good too. Yeah, we're not running into any armors out here. We shouldn't. There we go. Better question is, can I squeeze out a kill with Kirsten instead? She's still kind of, she's unpromoted still, so she is still kind of in the growth stage. Let's actually go do this. Oh, I need to turn her animations on now that she's actually on my team. Gonna happen pretty much every time I recruit someone. And then nothing has better hit than the Iron Lance here. Right. Killing blows on bosses automatically play crit animations. Alright. That's a typical level up for Kirsten. She's got that monstrous strength growth that's taking off, and a really good skill base. Really bad speed, ironically. Not ironically, but unfortunately, I should say. I prefer speedy Peg Knights, even if that's more the archetype. More ordinary for them. We bring Anna over to help with the other side now that we're done. So we gotta deal with, do I have to do? No, I do deal with the bandit before dealing with the Peg Knights. Just like that. A rally that's not going to reach the one person who's in combat next turn. Oh, got hit. Nope. This game's stealing system still obeys the GBA rules, where you can only steal items, and you cannot steal weapons, or can't steal weapons, can't steal staves. There are hacks that do allow that, and that's something you could do in the Tellius games, Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, but is not something that you can do in this game. Bob would have seen so much more action by now if I could steal weapons as well. I might have even put in the effort to force this guy to switch to the halberd. Speaking of which, I do have to think of a way to deal with him, because I'm gonna be in his killer bow range before I'm in his halberd range. So it means I have to deal with the killer bow. which probably will amount to a dice roll, unfortunately. You have, oh, okay. I should clear up your inventory space a bit here. Don't actually need the lockpicks, so that you can continue getting red gems if Despoil activates. I'm actually not sure if whether Despoil can or can't activate if your inventory is full. It doesn't say. Alright, just Peg Knights left. See, if I go 1 up next turn, I should be able to take this fort. Get even more avoid for tanking the Peg Knights that really aren't very threatening anyway. But can never be too safe in a permadeath game. Especially when you're not trying to speedrun or anything. No speedrun, no rank. Not that hardcore. Not right now. Well, I guess you can go around here. Blitz Lance. 5 to 8 to... Yeah, alright. You can keep that on. I should have rallied there. And keep a counter of, hey, Aether. If I thought to record it, I'd have a tally going on how many times I've rallied when I wanted to do something else, because that number is more than 0. The opposite is less true. Or less relevant, I should say. Anything up here? Nope. So it's not bad that there aren't too many enemies, so routing isn't too big of an issue, but the fact that you had to cut back on the enemies in order to make a route map that's reasonable seems kind of like backwards thinking in terms of map design. There are a lot of other ways to have gone about this that would have been better. Oh, another missed rally opportunity, but okay. Oh, he's actually not fast enough to double them. Yeah. Toxic lances are, if nothing else, light at least. Well, yeah, that's easy experience for the follow-up troops, I guess. Maybe Bob can even get a kill. Yeah, worth a shot. 81's pretty good. Betty is right there, so damage isn't a big issue. Taking damage isn't a big issue. Since he's got almost 19 speed already, it's not too big of a deal. Him not getting speed level ups every turn. Actually, I didn't realize he had Acrobat already as well. Or did he get that last turn? Last level? He might have, and I just wasn't paying attention. Yeah, I was just looking at that. She's a prime candidate. Might get her one more level. And then promote her. We'll see. this one kind of goes to Tim by necessity. At least staff shows up above rally. I think that was probably my only real complaint about the rallies, is they should probably show up by default lower on the command list so that it's harder to hit them by accident. What do you actually have equipped? Iron Blade? Okay. My treasure senses are kind of tingling down in this corner, but it's not worth spending the turns to send Bob all the way down there to check. That is actually a safe space. Especially since I've been making good progress on this chapter, and I might actually be able to do another one before having to call it a night, which would be nice. I was thinking before starting this evening, it actually occurred to me that if I'm only doing one chapter a night for a week, it's gonna take me another, this was 13, another 17 weeks to finish this game. If I kept that pace, if the design forced me to that pace. I'd like to go a bit faster than that if I can, so this is kind of nice that it's been a bit briefer, a bit more brief. Do I make Kirsten a Falcon Knight or a Wyvern Knight? In Sacred Stones, Wyvern Knight was the superior option in most cases. It just had better stats, and the weapon triangle control by gaining swords was not big enough of a boon to justify going Falcon Knight instead. Meanwhile, Pierce on Wyvern Knights, I don't have Prince still holding my other staves. Griffin Knights don't exist in this game. They're kind of neat, but they were Awakening only so far. Don't think they've shown up in any other Fire Emblem game. They were cooler in concept than they were in execution as well. I just have the boss, and I'm past my 7-turn bonus time with Anna, unfortunately. So she may have to tank without it. Because I think avoid tanking this killer bow is still probably my best option. Get Betty to apply a Rally Spectrum, and let's see, Arv can provide spur defense. So that brings me up to a little bit 12 defense. The 14 defense with the rally. Drops him down to 14 damage, which is still enough to kill with a critical. So I'm still banking on a dodge. Oh well. May also want to wait until I bring over some more of my units. So that I can support the team when I finally go in for the kill. Tam's still doing really well for a unit that was supposed to kind of fall off in his usefulness as the game advanced. He's a surprisingly good testament towards bases being more important than growths. Can I reach with? I can. Steve got Acrobat. I may want to keep him close as well, just so that I can steal the Hoplon guard, so that I can critical him, because Anna's gonna have trouble dealing damage if she can't crit. So you get kind of funky movement ranges like this because there are sand tiles and there are desert tiles, and they actually have different movement penalties to them. Sand. So I can, since there's sand here, actually, look, since there's desert there, I could have gone that either way, but next turn. Actually, I kind of want him to attack her there. Just to be safe. So yeah, you're good. No, I didn't give myself, well, I didn't give myself the spur defense anymore, but I also concluded that she was gonna die if she got crit anyway. If she doesn't get crit, she'll survive whether she has the spur defense or not. But since I am going into a RNG roll for survival here, I'm going to make a save state just in case it decides to be evil. Here we go. Yeah, that's 38% grants crit and almost 50% hit on even Anna. Don't know if my Flux program makes any difference to the stream, but I can turn it off for now. Wish there was a way that I could have the Visual Boy Advance continue playing even if I don't have it as the active screen, but the one option that I found for that makes it so that even when it's not the active screen, it still receives inputs from random keystrokes. So if I end up switching over to type something, I still get actions that I probably don't want to do. Alright, so you're probably still best throwing longbow bolts. This guy's beefier on defense, so I'm gonna end up doing more damage with magic. which is where the light brand comes in. That's pretty good damage. Alright. Ooh, you can double. Interesting. Arv can't, unfortunately. So let's see. But Arv also doesn't need to. I think she'll get a level up just from hitting here. We're very close to one. Yeah. That was a good level up. And sure. I give the kill to Kirsten here. If she misses, I can still rescue with Tim and then finish him off with, I guess, Cilicia. It's not that much better of a hit rate, but oh yeah, 92, 82, 92. One of those interesting gambits. Do you go with the higher hit rate for lower damage? Higher hit rate, but I have to hit both of them, or lower hit rate and I only have to hit one. And I'm not sure exactly how the probability works out between the two. But since this is almost 100% hit rate because of the way the 2RN system inflates percentage hit rates above 50%, I'll go with this. Kirsten gets both of the kills on the bosses this chapter. Yeah, you're actually right back to 80%. I might be able to squeeze another level if I can get him to get this. Get the bandit to attack her, maybe. Do you have any support skills? No. Well, resistance rally, but that's not helpful here. You have a rally spectrum though. Nice. We're just straight up defying the weapon triangle here now. Good. She needs her speed growth is really low, so and all the speed she can get. Alright, that didn't take long at all. That's nice. I can do 2 chapters tonight. Attack on basement. Basement, yeah. Oh boy. Defeat boss. Oh, interesting. This is a very Kaga era inspired map. We've got massive squadrons of all the same unit. Javelin. They all have javelins too. Very much a FE4 or FE5 inspired map. Carlisle incidentally looks like less of a pain than his original iteration, where he was a swordmaster on a throne and was probably clocking in like 60 or 70 avoid, and now he's only got 50. Slowed down by 1 point. And doesn't have a ranged weapon, so I can literally just cherry pick him to death if I really wanted to. A longbowman on the Ares. Knights up front. Forts in the middle. Well, I wonder if they're going to spawn reinforcements. The walls do, in fact, prevent flyers, so I can't fly over them. Not that that would be very helpful to me. Not that it'd be a very great idea with so many archers flying around, sitting around over here. I think I'm gonna bench Kirsten this chapter because she's gonna be more of a liability than a help. I do have 13 delicious deployment slots though. I predict Ty is gonna be an MVP this chapter. There's a lot to tank here. Yeah, I guess like Edge can come. Don't really have. Leroy is less useful than not even really a good meat shield anymore. Or he never was a great meat shield, but less so as the damage of enemies on average increased. So yeah, let's see what Arv's promotions look like at the moment. I just saved, so well, it'll be faster to save state here. I actually kind of like that palette. I think it looks better on the druid than the summoner, but let me test my theory real quick. Speed things up. Druid doesn't terribly patch up her stats. And yeah, she's got all the magics, which is kind of neat. But yeah, stats aren't great. So let's see what... Pay attention, Matt. That looked like moderately better gains. Yeah, I might actually stick with the summoner then. She's not only got slightly better stats, yeah, but she didn't really have the stat spread to be a druid once I actually looked at them. She's a lot more of a support unit. And she did keep her, her light magic level, which is still interesting in both cases, but thinking about promoting her too. Since she's not actually growing in her staff weapon level anymore. But yeah, the druid, I actually like the druid sprite better. Yeah, I kind of just noticed that Celicia looks like Celica, the old version of Celica. Maybe I should be pronouncing it Celicia. Do I have any spare? I don't really have much in the way of spare heal stabs. I guess I can buy one. Oh, hello. Sure. Let me see if I have yeah, I've got plenty of fire spells. I don't need to buy one for her. She can keep the Hellfire for nuking if I really need it. But what was her being stabs, which is pretty awesome. Right, since she's using physique. I guess that pretty much cements Prin into the Valkyrie route because I don't need 3 Mage Knights. Alright, Void immediately getting the Hoplon Guard. Which means I can actually use her in combat more now and not be at perpetual risk for random crits. See, I want to give her back the Armor Slayer, because I'm fighting armors this chapter. Did I ever get a hammer? It does not look like it. Don't need the torch, but I will want locked picks. Maybe. I actually don't remember seeing any chests. Yeah, actually aren't any chests. This is a suspicious looking fort, though. It actually looks like it was placed on top of a stair tile, which means just kind of implies more reinforcements. Now that I look at this, this also resembles a later chapter of Gaiden/Echoes. There's a very a similarly laid out map. Kind of had the front entrance with a courtyard with 3 entrances to the battlements, and then battlements filled with archers to kind of shoot down on you. Let me see if we got anything to steal then, maybe. I'm not seeing anything. I think I'm gonna leave Bob behind. Though actually I did want to check if I can Master Seal him, because it would be nice to just turn him into a rogue and be able to forget about it. I can. Yeah, don't need to do that now though, especially since I'm not fielding him. But yeah, let's give Ty some boots. Gotta go fast. Yeah, there was a, well, I was gonna say there's this that mass of cavaliers, but every single one of them's got a ranged weapon, so the Horse Slayer won't be as helpful on enemy phases as I was hoping. But there's no real reason I can't keep it. He can use swords, but I don't think he really gets much utility from them at the moment. Not with an iron sword. Edge is kind of filler at the moment. Take his killing edge. I kind of missed it last chapter. Guess I can give him a steel sword. Do I want to promote her? She could stand to gain a bit more speed. So I think I will hold off for now. Actually. Alright, I think I'm about good here. Let me just rearrange my formation. Oh, actually I can field someone else still? Oh, I do still have... No, right. Don't have anyone worth fielding. anyone else worth fielding, I guess I should say. Bring Ty up front. Anti-Arch can stay down there because he's got a horse and he'll catch up nice and fast. Same thing with Cilicia. Alright, let's go. Some interesting map shapes down here. I'm not entirely sure what they were doing. It's like this one's different than the rest of them. So I gotta deal with, well, not too much longbow rain. Am I getting a little bit of lag here, movement-wise? Did I change something by accident? I'm still at fast. I mean, I guess I could have brought Jerome as a reposition bot. That's about all he's useful for. He'll die if an enemy looks at him funny, but if I've got the free slot, maybe I'll consider it if I have to restart. I'm getting weird movement lag here. Should probably focus on getting her an S rank in Dark Magic at the moment. Unless I can kill with Void. Yeah, I'll give Void experience. Now that I can actually use her. Another news. We getting spooky in here. These look like not Ewan's. Maybe Ewan's? Ewan or Leon's phantoms. Nothing but strength. It's gonna at level 20 summon phantoms with 20 strength and maybe 10 speed at most. Incidentally, the fast phantoms are actually generally the more useful ones because they actually can dodge hits, but it's alright. Good work. Oh, that might be more fun than I expected. He's got a defense seal. I don't think I've attacked him with anyone except for that phantom. So if phantoms have defense seal, seal defense, then certain arousal on the topic of summoners might actually be justified. But I'll have to wait until next turn to find out. Funnily though, I'm not sure that's a word, but funny enough though, the most hype phantoms I've ever had the pleasure of using have been from the hack called FE8 Girls, which sounds fan servicey as hell and kind of was, but it was also actually had a lot of really neat stuff to it, including the Saint class, which was a promoted dancer that could summon other dancer phantoms, and they couldn't dance for each other, but you could have up to four dancers out on the field at any given time. They had like 2 movements, but they could dance for other units and give them extra turns, and it was borderline broken. Never mind, it was probably totally broken. I do have a Berserk staff. I'm not really gonna get too much use out of a Berserk here though. Nothing really stands out as a good target. This Wyvern Rider is really random. I don't know why it's here. I accidentally put my sniper in range of that knight. Oh well. Break your weapons upon him. I may consider turning off or speeding up animations when it comes to that mass of cavaliers later. Just don't need to go through 9 javelin throw animations in one turn. Bad enough I get to... Oh, I can at least speed them up here. At least they move. Unfortunately... Excuse me, at this rate I think I'm going to end up running into them right around here. Which... isn't really a great choke point. Maybe if I clear out this area quickly, I can prepare like a pincer and kind of tear through as many of them in one turn as I can. But I gotta get up there first. Rally resistance. Yes, I do want to get rid of some of these longbowmen. I'm gonna switch that silver sword back out for, I guess, iron here in this case. Because I don't want to spend the silver sword on something that iron works just as well for. He's got short spear. So if I place him here, I can bait both 2 archers next turn. Maybe? No, he won't be able to reach. Yeah. Though I'm not overly optimistic about hitting the one that's going to get a fort tile next turn. How do you fare? That's actually not terrible. These have basically the same specs. And then you, 15, 15, 15. So 7 2 more times. Assuming this guy doesn't have a doesn't have a long bow, and you don't have like a double bow or something. Alright, so I can actually get away with that, because I wanted to test the summon again. This is gives me a little more momentum. Yeah, 99's pretty good. Summoner casting animation isn't terribly exciting, but I don't think the Druid cast animation is any better, unfortunately. Alright, Edge is a rally bot. That's nice. Forgot about that. It's a strength too, which is a good one. Okay, unnecessary crits. Oh, 70 hits not bad. I was expecting it to be lower, but I suppose Ty's got pretty respectable skill. And the provoke skill, if I recall. That is the only reason I can imagine that archer attacking someone who can attack back. I'm a little surprised that longbow archer didn't attack Arv as well. Alright. Well, what? Suddenly green. Why? What? Where? Oh, okay. We going full... What? Her portrait is upside down. Former knight of the basement. Okay. Can I get Void to her this turn? 5, maybe? Well, I'm gonna talk to that troubadour and then see what happens to the rest of these green units. Not far enough. 13 res. That's pretty good. Seal luck, huh? That's an interesting one. I don't think I've encountered a seal luck before. So my one thought was if I can give a movement rally here to Void, she might be able to reach. And she still can't. But Tam can. Tim can. So in the meantime, Void can go beat up this archer. I guess this is as good a time as any to throw out another summon. They do have seal defense. That is amazing. Pass too. Pass is actually kind of cool. I know in Sacred Stones they were actually considered flying, so they could walk over mountains or rivers with no problem. But having seal defense actually increases their usefulness a lot more as well. Though they have to either dodge or attack first in order for it to apply. Have some extra resistance. Have some extra strength. Have some extra everything. Ooh. Oh wow, that mage just activated Adept. So yeah, the Peg Knights are gonna kind of fall apart quickly. I didn't even check their stats. They probably aren't very sturdy, especially if they're taking that much damage from mages. I mean, I'm assuming not all of the Peg Knights in the game are like Kirsten. They've got javelins at least, so they're poking back. That's okay. As I say, they going the long way there, even though there's a staircase, but they're actually kind of splitting themselves up, which works for me, I guess. It's like, are they going to move? The Kaga era of infinitely long non-player phases. You've got red army that clashes with a green army, and you're basically just watching for 5 minutes. If I get really tired of it, I at least have a speed up function for Visual Boy Advance. Alright, so I have my pick of who to kill with whom. You actually don't have enough power. Gotta use the Elfire here. It is a pity that Elfire has such a bad weight to damage ratio, because I'm a big fan of the animation. I like the eruption that comes afterwards. Cilicia basically beating not anti-arch in most stats here. Was Peg Knight actually getting in the way of me killing that archer? Suppose I can use Samson. Talk. Give me an explanation, please. Damn it. Okay. Well. No, she comes with a warp staff too. And virtually no strength to use it. Man, I could be swimming in Mage Knights if I wanted. I could have 4 of them. I don't need 4 of them. I also don't really need two Mage Knights, 2 Valkyries either. So someone's are probably gonna get the bench in the near future. Pass. I actually kind of like the little touch there where the arrow goes over top of the enemy. No, just the upside down Troubadour was the only recruitable one here. I think. Yeah, no one else has a talk. What are their stats? Pretty underwhelming. Except the Lord. He's random, both of the Lords, I suppose. Yeah, both pretty solid actually. And they've got their specialty weapons too. Right, because they remapped Erica's class as a whole. This NPC version of Erica also is a lance user. Actually, I want to kind of bring Ty up to the front lines. I guess, or I could seal defense. And now I should be able to one-shot. You know. But yeah, unfortunately, this is not the best place to engage this massive Cavaliers, because they have so much movement. They basically have free reign over this area. So, what turn is it? 4? Still have lucky 7s. I've got 80 avoid on the floor. I could equip her with the Lance Reaver, and she'll be virtually untouchable to these guys. Unless they get forced into melee range, and then they will force her to break her Lance Reaver weapon. Because I only have 3 hits in it. And then she'll be a little more susceptible because she'll lose her weapon triangle advantage. I kind of want to kill this mage is the main thing. Maybe. I guess he's not terribly threatening. So upside down Troubadour comes at level 18, basically means she's ready to be promoted on the spot for the most part. She actually has no luck growth. Hang on. Well, I've seen 100% growth. Ty has 100% luck growth. And oh, Void has 0% growth in luck, I think. So I don't know what dash percent growth in luck is. Maybe it's over 100? I don't know. 50, 40, 40, 35. 60, 50, 45, 35, 35. So Prin actually has the better growths. And it's a bit of a tough call because Evester's got the more traditional spread, which is a little bit safer. She's got the speed and luck going so that she actually has good avoid. Meanwhile, Prin has kind of lousy avoid, but she's got a bit more bulk to her. Physically, at least. And she's got almost double the HP. So what is your former king of the basement? I read that wrong the first time. Still kind of amuses me that her portrait is upside down. Maybe it's a guy, since it's a king. I don't know. Actually, that's probably fine. Got 100 avoid. Nothing's gonna hit her. Got 50, which is pretty good. Brings these guys down to 38, 39, no, 20, 28, 29 avoid, or hit. Though I don't necessarily need to encourage that. Basically just gonna arrange myself in the middle here and wait for them to come to me. Is anyone? Yeah. Yeah, level 1 phantoms. Oh, I forgot to switch him off the short spear. He's gonna break that. But I guess provoke should help prevent the Cavaliers from attacking anyone else until literally every spot that is attackable that Ty can be attacked from is already occupied, since he's not able to kill these guys. Yeah, there goes the short spear. I'm gonna bully the Peg Knights. Yeah, I guess a lot of Peg Knights are the bullyable types. I'm thinking Floriana would probably be very fun to bully. Go forth, green lords. Tear apart the infantry with your infantry slaying weapons. Or don't move at all. That's okay too. Actually, I don't think that's not okay. You're taking up the fort spots. Anyway, most of these, if not all of these Cavaliers are now close enough for me to carve through them. Just gotta pick the units to make it happen. Actually gonna use edge, just because I just need manpower here, numbers. Can I reach here? Some of them. Basically, if I start from the back of my pack and attack whoever I can, then it ensures that the units near the front of my formation can reach the enemies in the back of their formation. I did not field Bob this turn, or this chapter. There's didn't seem to be any real reason for it. I suppose I could have used him to swap the NPCs off the fort tiles, but I can actually shove with Void as well. But yeah, starting from the back, because the front line of the enemy is usually just within range of the back line of you. But if you start from the front, your back line can't reach the enemy back line. I don't really want to spend longbow uses on them. See, this is just in Tim's range. So green units helped make that horde of cavaliers a bit more palatable. I was expecting reinforcements, but I wasn't expecting them to be friendly. Here, I'll even heal you. More for the staff experience than for your benefit. They have short spears too, not even javelins. Wish I could steal these Hoplon guards from them, because they certainly don't need them. I think it's a little weird that they went with I wonder if they Hoplon guard protects against criticals. I wonder if they had actually intended to give them all Philly shields, I think was the Sacred Stones. In the other GBA games, they're called Delphi shields. I believe Delphi was a Eleb god or goddess in Eleb, or at least a mythological figure. How many do I have to kill here? 4. And the last ones should have decent avoid or decent res or both. Which Anna fits the bill for the avoid, so I don't mind her. They got 12 accuracy. Well, it'll be 32, I guess. 100 hits only on the fort. 100 avoid, I should say, is only on the fort. So when I move off, that'll go down by 20. So maybe not with Anna. Not that far out, at least. I guess Armor Slayer will do. Not actually effective here, but just to ensure that I get a kill without having to crit, even though I did crit. Ty will be a good one to use to kind of finish off these guys, because he only takes 1 damage from the mages. So even this wing has kind of cleared out itself. I might not bother messing with this knight at all. I don't really have too much reason to. I guess if I have spare resources, I can send someone over to pilfer or to pick off experience. So you don't really have great, not great avoid, not great resistance. But I'm also kind of out of people who can reach. So 2 attacks. 3 attacks. 17, 17, and 15. So that would be 9, 11, and 11. That's just enough to kill. So, alright. Guess I have to leave that, let that mage live. 'Cause I don't have a good way of killing him. Don't have a safe way. Tim's got pretty respectable resistance. Anna's got her avoid, and Ty actually has really good resistance. I can harass the mage, but yeah, maybe I should leave him here. So this mage should just attack the phantom and basically becomes a non-factor on this coming enemy phase. Right, this is fine. Or maybe he'll attack Ty because Ty has provoke. Yeah. And I still kind of have a hard time pinning down how that applies, because it doesn't seem to apply universally, because not everyone attacks, but if there's an RNG rule, it's kind of hidden. I got Phantom with some actual defense. Not that it'll keep him alive with 1 health, but yeah, he went after Ty. They don't all do 1 damage, but low enough to not be threatening. More adepts. You can get as many as you want. You won't kill him, not this turn. It was actually a respectable way of parsing that group. I actually kind of expected all of them to come at me. So, oh, you've got great resistance. I'm just going to charge right in here with you. You don't even have to kill. Just soft them up. Once again, kind of working back to front here. Except Anti-Arch can't kill. Uh-oh. We'll be seeing the end of Anti-Arch soon. Am I gonna regret promoting him already? He's still a good tank. 15 defense. He and Ty can probably, if I need to choke any 2 space wide spots, they'll probably be my go-to characters for that. Not Arch and his Seal Speed is also really nice. How are we doing? Weapon level wise here, A and B. Kind of want to start shifting focus to getting S rank stuff. So stick with the axes. Yeah, missing an 89 and getting hit by a 60. Wow, this guy is completely hemmed in. I have to throw something at him. Tier 7. I mean, I haven't used this tomahawk at all yet, so I guess I can spend it a little bit. So, didn't want to use Samson there because I want to use him here. It doesn't make too big of a difference. You do a little more damage, so I guess I'll tell you. The other one's following soon anyway. Move Ty out of the way and then use Arf to kill the other close mage. Actually, I could use... Well, Anna can reach you, so I want to kill someone else without getting too close here. Actually, I can probably afford that because Ty is attack. 22. I take 1 damage from that killer lance, if that. I might do 2, just so I have enough power to kill. So we've reduced the mass of mages up there to just 1 at the end of this turn. He's probably going to attack Ty, because provoke. I can use the Phantom to lure the Armor Knight, the Killer Lance Armor Knight, then blast him with the effective weapon next turn. Should be a 1-shot, possibly. So my first instinct is to not use the Recover Staff because I don't want to conserve it because it's a fairly valuable staff. Then I remember I don't think I've ever broken a Recover Staff in like any of the games I've ever played because I just end up being super conservative with them. I mean, maybe I've broken one in like Sacred Stones playing the creature campaign where I've put 100 hours into grinding up everyone to level 20. Yeah. I don't think I've ever actively bought a Recover Staff. If I have them, I might use them. If they like, as in this case, they came with a character, then I'll use it if necessary. Night battles. Closest thing to mech fights in Fire Emblem. Oh, he actually chipped pretty decently there. I was gunning for that, and they actually kill stole me. Oh, I promoted her. I should give her a staff as well. She can use one now. I have not figured out why Evester's portrait is upside down. She seems kind of happy about it, but alright. And yeah, the greens have thinned out. The Peg Knights wielding short spears, so they've got virtually no speed or avoid. They do at least hit for a little more than chip damage. A little bit. Can actually kind of swing around here, start harassing some of the enemies over the wall, because some of them, like this guy, is close enough. This archer is close enough. This archer I can lure. The shamans I can lure from this side. And just any way I can isolate enemies puts me at an advantage, because it allows me to fight them on my own terms. Okay. Toxin lances. Poison stuff. Ty's not afraid of any toxin lances. The poison will do more damage than the lances. As I predicted earlier, Ty is definitely MVP of this map. There we go, I'm actually gonna get hit and poisoned. Might be interesting if I like picked up some of these NPCs and just kind of dropped them in front of the enemies. I do have horsies, a lot of horsies actually running around. Maybe I can do that. It's not worth the effort, as amusing as it might be. Will she crit? No, she won't. Well, she still got a level up out of it, and a good one too. You're not close enough. You're not close enough. A lot of people aren't really. They're just kind of on the cusp of being close. So get some shove action in here. Which one's the glass cannon? Sword, sword, sword. Luna. Yeah, Anna's a sword master. She's definitely glass and debatably cannon. Though 16 is right around where I start considering a stat to be considered pretty good. No one else can reach. Yeah, 8 defense is pretty normal for a swordmaster. Their style tends to abandon all defense in favor of speed and kind of attack. Speed and skill. And I mean, this is also talking GBA era swordmasters, so Sacred Stones, Blazing Sword, Binding Blade. Once you kind of leave those, the scale kind of changes depending on what direction you go. Like the Tellius games, the Myrmidons and Swordmasters tended to be a bit more bulky because there was no mercenary class. Ike was the only mercenary in the game. So Myrmidons kind of morphed to fill both roles. They were still very speedy, but they gained a bit of bulk, they gained a bit of attack, and were generally more useful sword infantry units as a result. Though, unfortunately, Radiant Dawn did suffer from this homogenization of their sword masters, where there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sword masters in the game, and their endgame stats had very little variation between them. Some of them you couldn't tell the difference from just from the stats. Though with Radiant Dawn, the way that caps worked, that kind of applied to a lot of characters too. So it wasn't entirely swordmasters. Oh, that Killer Lance putting in work. Can't complain. Meanwhile, just have to... This is a very, very bizarre situation in which my knight is ahead of... My general is ahead of everyone in my army, and everyone in my army is scrambling behind my general in order to keep up. This pretty much never happens in a Fire Emblem game because of movement range stuff. So, enjoying the novelty while it lasts. The humor of the situation is not lost on me. Tai has 15 res, despite his growth saying he has low res. He actually had a really good base, and he got some more from his promotion. Like, Tai is really good. His speed is his only only real downfall at the moment. And as I was saying before, if he gets to level 5 and he gets Wary Fighter, then speed is not a factor at all. But we'll see. He might just get Rally Defense and be uninspiring. But still really good, just because he's got good stats. I can't even shove someone into range of this Shaman. I guess since it's a Luna, I should probably heal him. Right, Ty also has fantastic luck, with 100% growth in luck, so he actually is able to completely negate Luna critical, which isn't as high as I was expecting it to be for some reason. Guess still mixing it up with Fire Emblem 7 Luna, which was debatably overpowered. Actually, no, once again, no debate about it, it was overpowered. Tome with 90% hit and 20% critical that had ignored enemy resistance. There's a reason people brought that instead of legendary tomes onto the final boss. Random Wyvern Rider. Don't know why you're here, and I don't think I'll ever find out your secrets. He's not even carrying anything of interest. That actually hit me. Considering that most of my army is promoted, or a good portion of my army is now promoted, I'm gonna start thinking about promoting Void too. So she's suffering from what generals usually suffer from, is their lack of movement range is causing her to kind of lag behind here. Should swap Not Arch and Silesia's Hellfire Tomes, because Anti-Arch actually needs it to kill and Silesia doesn't. She just kind of has it for emergencies. You're 4. Neither. They both have 2 experience points too. But don't need to risk a wayward hit if I can reduce their accuracy to 0. That it? Just the boss is the only one left. Phantom kind of got lost up there too. What are your matchup? What's your matchup here like? That's entertaining. What are his skills? Yeah, he's got Luna. In this version, it completely negates enemy defenses. That's pretty nasty. 10% chance of suddenly dealing 21 more damage to Ty. That's not a chance I need to... Oh, he did get a rally. Oh no, he had a rally. Never mind. But more importantly, a boss that doesn't move with only a Brave Lance means I can throw magic at him for days and he can't do anything about it. Here, hold this Hellfire. Or don't. You're not supposed to dodge it. Poison's helping to give my healers a workout. Kind of. Adept. Nope. Though actually not that awful, but still nope. Yeah, the fact that he's got Luna pretty much de-incentivizes me from going into melee range with him at all. When I can sit around and pepper him from outside, there's just no reason to risk it. I guess I should bring... Well, by the time Edge gets down here... Maybe not. I was gonna say, I could bring Edge down here for his rally strength, and that will... Or rally attack, I should say. It says strength. Attack's probably a more accurate description. So it'll help deal a little more damage each turn. Even with the seal defense or seal speed, Anti-Arch still can't double. So worth throwing his Hellfires. Yeah, I guess I can. Yeah, I'm getting experience, so... okay. So I'm really hoping for his magic to kind of kick in. 40% growth is not terrible, but he's just not been getting any magic. Fortunately, he can still do his tanking job even without it, but be nice if he could do a bit more damage. Moving those two out of the way gives space for Samson to get a piece of the party. And Arv can finish him off. Yeah. I want to do anything else before I end the chapter. I mean, I guess I can do some healing. Yeah, that sounds like going out with regrets. Forgot to bring my spear. Yep, this is Exhibit A on why you don't design a boss that doesn't move and has only a range 1 or only range 2 weapon. And give him 1-2 range or make a move. If they'd sped it up, that critical animation might have actually been more interesting as their primary animation for summoners. But, yeah. the Shark Straits. Yep. Alright, I'll take a quick look, preview. Can't see a thing, even the weather is in my way. There's a whole horde of soldiers storming our way. Okay, there's no more fog of war. It's not any more welcome now than it was before. Probably less so. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 visibility. There's a lot. You know what? Visit all those islands. Which islands? Yeah, the forts down here basically scream ranged, like flying reinforcements. Well, actually, with the beachhead here, they could be pirates. Pirates can traverse water. Same thing up here. They're either flyers or they're pirates. The interesting thing about this map is it looks like an Advance Wars map. I have very limited experience with Advance Wars. I've played Dual Strike on the DS way back when. But something about this map, I think with the way the roads are positioned and the forts, just really reminds me of the map style from Advance Wars. Bring in Shark Monster in the hack. So if someone was more familiar with Advance Wars, they might actually recognize this if it's a straight homage. But unfortunately I don't. That Fish People is an entirely different hack. I've seen them. They're really cool actually. The Bloodlines, Fire Emblem Bloodlines has Mer People. And apparently an entire chapter that takes place underwater. I don't know the logistics behind that one, how they explain it lore-wise, but it is. There's another one that I might be interested in Let's Playing at some point, streaming. I wouldn't be completely blind with that one since I've played the first, I want to say 10 to 15 chapters. But it does some of the coolest stuff in terms of design that I've seen, map design wise, and like they do. Gast, the creator, has put a lot of effort into the writing as well, which has some really neat results. A very diverse and colorful cast. But anyway, I've said enough for the preview on this map. I will talk more about it start of next week. For now, thanks everyone for tuning in. Looking forward to this more and more each week. The maps are getting more interesting, and curious to see what other units come my way too. I've certainly been blindsided by all of these mage cavalry recently, but maybe I can do something interesting with them. It'd be nice to get some actual normal cavalry too. I don't think aside from Leroy, I haven't gotten a cavalier of any kind yet. Maybe there was one early on that I actually missed. I've been planning on going back and replaying like on a normal mode just to see, because there were a bunch of villages early on that I didn't fail to rescue or whatnot. So see what's in those. All right. Anyway, thanks for joining, and see you later.